Alright guys, I am in a gold trade right now, and gold has been really working out for me this week. So, alright, context first. Overall, still in an uptrend, very much buyers are in control. We had a nice pullback pre-market today, and we found some support. So I traded this earlier today in my previous video, and you probably saw that as I shorted this on the way down. And then now we found the support at this area that I did talk about during that video earlier today. Now we found that support, and we were in a downtrend, and then we actually started to come back up, and I made some money as we came back into the profile and moved up here in a previous video today too. And then we came back down into this area again. But check this out. Overall, okay, and that cha-ching means we just moved 10 ticks past my my original stop, or where I was trying to get in at. But basically, we were in a downtrend, right? Okay, and we came up, and then at the previous to the market, though, however, we did find some support here. But look at the moving averages when it opened up. It wasn't down; it actually started to move back up, right? So we shorted up here, and I was talking about how we kind of have a range. So this is my thought process. We're overall in an uptrend. So uptrend is very favorable as a trade. On this downtrend, that was fine as we came to these levels, but then we hit the support. So we bounced, moved up, and that's fine. You can trade it. You can trade at the support all the way up to this level, which was a low value area, and we hit it literally to the tick and came back down. So we went from range low to range high, now to range low again. But we're not sideways. We're actually moving up. So this was a favorable trade here because we were actually, now we chop it up. This is now behind us. This trend is now behind us because we moved in downward movement. We went up and we shorted it here, which was the trade during this side, and then the moving averages crossed over. The moving average crossed over, and you see a nice open trade like that, and it's starting to flatten out here. It comes back down to the low value area in an uptrend, and then you buy. So we had a nice deep retracement and was able to buy down here, and now it's moving up. And because we're in such an uptrend, I'm expecting this thing to at least come up to the 1153, 1154, possibly all the way up to here, right? And we gotta look at some confluence. So probably 1154, 1154.8, right? Because we have this consolidation area right here, and we finally dropped down really heavy off of this thing. But if the momentum really starts to push up here, we could get to the other side, 1158. And at that point, what we'll do is we'll look for a breakout of that area, retest, and then long, okay? Because then this area will probably not hold, and we'll be able to push up even higher. And we are at the end of the weeks, and gold has been very strong to the upside. So that's kind of the trade that we're going to be taking on gold. Right now, we're in a long setup as we came down here. And I'm in again about 3 contracts right here. As you can see, about $450 right now up on that trade right there, just off of 3 contracts alone. And that was just purely a reactionary trade, knowing that we were going up. This is an uptrend, right? So you look at this section here, and as you come down and do a deep retracement, you can buy at the low value area when you're moving up. Okay, so you're moving up. You're looking for this thing to break up here, come down, retest the high value area, and then go for a long. Or as you're coming up, you look for this thing to reverse on you and come down, and then you buy here at the low value area. And it didn't quite get to the lows here, which was really good sign for me, right? It held, and then it bounced, and now it's really moving, right? And now, just in the last conversation, since I described it, we're up $600. So we're going to move up, looking at targets at 1156, 1158, and I'll scale out there, and I'll leave one runner to see if this thing could really break out to the upside. And if it does break out, I'll take out some targets here at the 1161, okay? Because that was previous target as we moved up to initially. Didn't quite hit it. Was cautious right here at the low value area, because if you're in a downtrend, you wait for it to come up to the low value area, right? And then you continue and short, and that's what happened here off of that short. So with that said, I'll go ahead and pause the video, manage a trade, and we'll see how high this thing goes. Okay, guys? And we'll be back in just 1 second. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm still holding to my three trades, so we were up just about $800 just a second ago, 810. So this thing is still pushing up pretty high, so looking pretty good. I know the moving averages are kind of flattening out here, so this may be an area to kind of take some profit. As you can see, it's been moving down pretty quickly once it hit this area. So let's go ahead and kind of look at this and manage it a little bit better, and I'll be right back. Okay. Alright guys, I'm back on gold. Gold, one thing, let me tell you, say one thing real quick, has really taught me patience in holding on to my profits, because a lot of times we get out of our profits too early and then we let our losers run, right? And that's how we become unprofitable. Now in this case, I'm letting my runners run, and now I'm back up to close to $900 off of this one trade. And I am going to scale out now at this point. But usually when I see an uptrend and it comes down and retests it, and this thing moves up in the direction of the overall trend, even though we had this nice downtrend, I mean, that's why I would eventually, if it breaks over here, like I said, I'm looking for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 ticks, maybe even more up to the top. But initially, I'm going to look for a pretty good move here. And, even off of this move here, getting in at the 49 area or even 50 here, just to confirm that this wasn't going to drop further. We still made 10, 20, 30, 40 ticks so far, and just off of 3 contracts, I'm up over $1,000 already, just off of this trade alone. So it's a nice little way to kind of trade this market here. And lock in profits, So one thing I will say is that as I'm waiting for this to come up, this is a very choppy area here, because you see a lot of up and down movement. It went up and initially finally broke down, and we just hit the bottom of that range, right? You see that right there at the 54, and you see immediate reaction to the downside. So if I were going to take targets, I would say as I'm moving up from here to here, I would probably take at least my initial targets off right there, right? So that would probably be the smart thing to do, because this thing, if it does run into some resistance, it's probably going to happen here. So just something to kind of think about as we manage trades and learn how to take profits, because again, my weakness is actually is locking in profits and taking profits when I can. So so far I'm actually up about 50 about 40, 50, about going into the 50 tick area right now. Now, while we kind of wait for this thing to kind of move, and I really believe this is going to move, and like I said, it's just a test of patience, and looks like my first target was hit, 1140. Yep, and there you go. It just pops right through there, right? Remember I told you there was this little resistance right here? It's no longer there. It popped right into there, and that's showing good buyers to push this thing higher. So I'm going to look at probably exiting at the 1157 for some extra as I'm scaling out here, that is. So I'll probably scale out some more here as it comes up to 57. That's only about 20 or 25, 30 ticks away from here. But this thing is going to show some momentum unless I see some selling as we move up and some iceberg orders. So we'll have to be careful on that. Now one thing, and I'll make another video if we do this, but I wanted to show you on this video, I did talk about how we were kind of ranging, and we're making money from the down range highs to range lows, highs, lows, and then highs again. And that's what happens when a sideways market. You can sell the highs, buy the lows, right? And we're doing that back and forth. And then we had this recent uptrend. So when it came down to support into this low value area, it just changed, since this whole thing negated these low value areas here. It pushed down even lower. This thing came down, and we were able to buy here and move back up, right? And as we came back up again, it started to sell off. So we were just, you just sell again here, okay, and hit the bottom of this range and exit. But we were looking for this thing to break either to the upside or to the downside, right? Well, it finally broke, right? And now we're looking for this thing to come back up to retest either the low value area here at 40.60 or possibly even higher. I'd rather look for this thing to kind of come up to the 75 to 80 area. That would be a much greater short. Now it could show some reaction when it comes up to this area here and then short from here, because you can see it shot down, hesitated, and finally broke down really hard. So this is a very bearish bar right here. So it could come back up even further. The best trade on oil right here would be to come up to this level, to the 75, anywhere between 7 and 8 right here, I would say. Okay, and then really look at the 1 minute ticks. 1 minute bars to see and get into a more accurate price level. Okay, so probably right here you see how the bottom of this area at the 68, right, how it came down and finally broke through it. So if we come back up, it'll probably be around in this this area here actually. So there's something to think about. It looks a little bit different when you put the 5 minute bar 5 minute thing on here, but we will go with that and see what happens. Okay, guys? I'm going to pause the video and we will continue in just a second. Alright guys, a quick update on gold. So I actually cashed in my contracts when it started to pull back, and then I saw some bounce right here and hesitated, came down, came back up, came back down to this area, which was this low value area, and now look at the moving averages. It's now really starting to move up on the 1 minute, right? And we have this cross. It started to move down on the 5 minute. However, technically we're still in this long from down here, and usually I try to hold as we move up on gold. So my next targets will still be beyond here, just because we broke above here. We came up to here earlier, so if it comes up to test it again, most likely this thing's going to break it off of momentum, especially at this point in the day off of gold, because once gold kind of breaks a certain area or goes towards an area that it was tested before, and we're moving in the direction of the trend, which is technically we're in a flat, but we're moving in an uptrend, and we're just moving past this consolidation area right here. And I would say really, because we broke that 1154.7, as you can see, is a high value area back here, and the point of control and high value area down here. Now we're looking at breaking above this high value area here, which is so close to the recent high that we had at the beginning of the trading day. So if this thing does move up with this momentum like we're seeing now, because sellers should have controlled right here, right? And we could still have range at this point, just go up, down, as we hit this level. But I'm going to hold on to my trade until we get back here. So I'm actually back in another 3 contracts, and I'm already back up another $700 and starting to add little by little onto this trade. So we didn't have like the big ranges like we saw the other 2 days, and we are overextended, but gold is still in an uptrend. All right, now let's look at oil. Oil did not give me a chance to get in. This thing, once it broke these levels, completely fell and came back and retraced a little bit, but that wasn't enough for me. Remember, we're trying to take better positions in the market, not just any kind of positions, right? You want to get a better reward to risk. And if I got in here, I would have to risk a stop all the way back this level, because we're actually looking for the market to pull back here anyway in order to short. So this is when you have to be very patient in the market and wait for this thing to come back here. And another thing to think about is the moving average has been going sideways. Well, what's going to really establish the trend to move and open up to one way or the other? Well, it has to really move to one way. And we literally, from this short here, moved already 100 ticks. So that's a very strong move off of that trade. And If we come down, we need to come down real far like we just did right now. And then when we come back up to retest it, that will be a really valid and very great reaction on that short, I think. So we just got to be patient on this thing. If it doesn't come back up, it doesn't come back up. But we're not going to take those trades, right? Okay, so let me go back to gold real quick because it's starting to really move up. All right, now about $960 off of this trade, off of 3 contracts, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and scale out again at 11.58 for a nice profit, and then wait for this thing to break. Watch for this thing to break and see how high it breaks, and probably have another exit, another one at the 11.63, unless it kind of stalls at the 11.61 over here. So I'll go ahead and put another one at 11.63, maybe one at the 11.62, because I don't really think it's going to show that much. Once it breaks here, it's right around the same area where it consolidated. If it breaks, it's probably going to break up really hard and push up very, very hard, and probably take out that that 11.63 target anyway. If that's the case, at that point, I'm going to look and see what price is going to do. There may be a small little retracement. That's fine. I'll hold on to my runners and see this thing break above here, because we're going to the weekend. It's Friday, and you know, anyone that's short on gold is not going to be holding overnight with this kind of move right here, and we're most likely we're gonna keep moving higher on gold, just like we're gonna keep moving down on oils. So I put an alert here because we had that bounce up, but then failed and kept going down. But now if we start consolidating down here and move back up, I want it to break here to give me another signal for it to have a nice long pullback. At that point, you will see the moving averages open up, and that'll probably be my second video because I'll probably be out of gold at that point. So that's the trade ideas. I'll update you guys real quick to finish this video off once it hits my next target, because I don't want to keep this video going and miss a video on oil. But once it does hit that target, I'll go ahead and scale out of that. Alright, so the ES had just been shorting. I won't even go over this, but there's been plenty of opportunities here using market internals. As you can see, it moved up initially over here up until 11.17, right? And then it just completely fell below zero, came back up one more time to the 11.17. If you look at the 11.17 back here, right? Look at the internals. Look at the advanced decline where it was. It was up here, wasn't it? Look where it was when it came back to 11.17 the second time over here. Look at the left where the crosshairs at. It was down here, right? Look where the crosshairs are at. Negative 15.555. Look where it was over here when it hit that. Negative 14. That's a negative divergence. It's moving down. Same highs, but now lower lows, right? And that shows you that that was another possible short entry. So if you shorted here, you'd have been able to short all the way down here, down to 1997 already at this point. And you would have just watched this thing kind of move and make sure it stays under zero, and it did. Look at that. It was creating more lows to below zero than it was when it popped up. So this shouldn't have scared you at all and kept you into the trade until at least the next support zone right here, right? So if you got in up here at the 17, you just made 20 points on the ES right there. So I'm going to go back to what I know best, which is gold and oil, and we'll just keep waiting for this thing to push up, and we'll see what happens. But again, once oil breaks above here and I take that target out at 11.58.8, I'll go ahead and close the video out, and you guys can kind of go to the markets, go to your charts and see what oil did. But I have targets up above, and we'll exit out here and possibly even higher. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. Up another $1,000 off of this trade, just off of 3 contracts. So these are great examples for you guys that are scared or worried about trading big size. You don't have to make this kind of money in the market. You just have to let your runners run, right, and get in at good positions into the market. And you got some iceberg orders here, but like I said, once it breaks here, breaks those iceberg orders, this thing has a lot of potential to just shoot up. And as you can see, that's probably where that resistance was, right? Where I just talked about. So it makes sense that those orders are there now that we're seeing them. Okay, so that's how that works, guys. But I think just my experience, gold, it'll break through this really quickly. Once it starts, keep testing it. These sellers are just going to get out of the way eventually. Okay. With that said, I'll go ahead and pause the video, and I will recap real quick once it breaks at 11:58.8 and I'm out on my first target. Okay. All right, guys. Alright, guys, I want to check in real quick. This might be the next push that we're looking for. So we've been kind of just ranging right here at the top, but we haven't really seen any heavy sell-off, and it's holding right here. So once we see this momentum really push up, and if I go down to the 1 minute, you can see it a little bit better. But every time it comes down here, it's bouncing. So really good. We just have to really break this high value area here over to the left that you see at 11:57.6. And you saw the iceberg orders here. So so far so good. Still holding on, and this is kind of how you would analyze the market if you're afraid that this thing was going to turn around on you. But as you can see now, even on the 1 minute moving average, we're firmly now onto the upside here. So so great thing right there. Go ahead and pause the video, and we'll close it out. Alright, guys, as promised, finally broke the 11:58.8. It took some time, but as you can see, it just kind of consolidated, which is good. And then now we broke out of there, and we're seeing a lot of upside movement just off of a 1 minute bar right there. So that was nice. Finally did break above here, so got that target. And like I said, the next target would be the 11:60.61 area, and possibly all the way up higher. But I think we're gonna break through here and just keep moving up higher. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hold on to my runners as we push up past here, because really now we have support at that 58 level, right? Because we were in this downward movement, but now we moved up, came down, should have pushed down lower off of this downward move. Instead, we reversed on us on this price. So the bias is more to the upside here, and that's how we're going to play that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the video. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of that, and I'm walking you guys through a practical trade, a real trade, live trade that I go through, and kind of the thought processes of how I get in and how I get out. And as you can see, the setups happen way before the market ever gets to that price. And you literally can see into the future a little bit. You just have to know how to take your risk and balance that. And now you're seeing this start to really push up. So if you would have got in here at the 11:49 to 11:50, we just made 100 ticks. That's $1,000 off of one contract there, guys. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and close the video out. Good night. That was a great Friday trade. And I'm gonna finally go to sleep. It's been a great week. I will see you guys next week, and more to follow. Okay, all right, see you guys soon. Take care.